Hi everyone, and welcome to the wonderful Zion Hills Golf County. This is episode 4 of Stack and Tilt Explained. I really hope you've been enjoying the previous episodes, and as I said before, if you have any questions, please feel free to write to me. If you're a student of the game, feel free to look us up and come maybe do a lesson with us. If you're a coach, we do a wonderful coach mentorship program which you can be a part of. So what exactly is this low point? Essentially, your golf club moves in an arc. So it moves upwards, it moves downwards, reaches the low point of the downward movement and then starts to move upwards again. Now if you're playing an iron shot, you want to hit the ball first and then the ground. So essentially you want to hit the ball slightly before the bottom of the arc. And that's very, very important for pure ball striking. Now the control of the bottom of the arc is what we call low point control in the stack and tilt system. Now before we go into understanding low point and how we can improve your low point, we must talk about ball position. And I see a lot of players sometimes looking at their ball position relative to their stance, and I would advise against that, because you really want to look at your ball position relative to your swing center. And why is that? It's very simple, because my swing center and looking at the ball position relative to my swing center can get you more accurate when it comes to ball position. So to give you an example, right, if I have a narrow stance, you can see my swing center is actually, or the low point is actually outside my stance. But if as I get wider, let's say if I get really wide, you can see my swing center now, okay, is quite a bit inside my stance. So assuming I'm hitting a driver, and if you were looking at me from the face on angle, you might say, hey, you know what, your ball position is too far inside your lead heel, but actually it's right where I want it to be, which is right below my center in this particular instance. So essentially for an iron shot, we would like to see the ball placed maybe 2-3 balls inside your swing center. And there are key elements, or 2 key elements, that really dictate how good you're going to be at controlling your low point. Those 2 elements are essentially your weight location, that is where your weight is pretty much at impact, and where your handle is at impact. And what we want for an iron shot is both of those being forward. Now if you are able to control that and control your weight location and your handle location through impact, you're going to hit the ball pure pretty much every time. Now in the previous episodes we spoke about the setup, and I'll go through that again. From the face on view, we'd like to see, or I'd like to see, a lot of my players get maybe 10% of the weight more on the lead side and get the handle more forward at address, because this sets you up into a good position to actually attack the ball first. Now a very important aspect of the weight staying on the lead side is learning how to turn correctly. And again, as we had mentioned in the earlier episodes, you need to go into extension, a turn and a side tilt to be in the right position, where you would automatically see 60% of your weight staying on the left. Now critically, what you have to practice as a player is maintaining the weight on the left side, maybe 10% or so at the top of the backswing, and then making sure that you hit the ball with your hands ahead of the ball. Now this position here, or the position of the wrist, is what we call the right wrist wedge. And one of the drills that you can do is hit a lot of balls focusing on maintaining this wedge in the right wrist. You can go further. It's a drill that we call the flying wedge sometimes. What you don't want to see, and which happens to a lot of amateur golfers and club golfers, is coming into impact, you tend to lose that wedge, because probably you haven't practiced it, or you don't have a proper understanding of the right position of the hands relative to the ball at impact. Now another important factor in hitting the ball solid is maintaining a stable swing radius, which is the length from the center of my lead shoulder to my club head. Now we see a lot of people, especially club golfers, as they come into impact, they have a tendency to bow that left elbow out and shorten the swing radius. There are many reasons for that. It could be that they're coming in a little vertical, so they have to compensate. But whatever the reason, if you understand the grid, which was mentioned in the previous episode, and all you've got to do is focus on getting your weight forward and your hands forward, there's a very effective drill that you can do that I like to call the low point drill, or the 1990 drill, where you just hit shots starting from a position where your weight is forward, maybe 10%, so 60-40, and you hit shots probably from P3 position of the swing, which is halfway back, to P8, keeping your arms straight. Now, keeping the arms straight is critical because sometimes even the destination or the end of the swing can tell you what's actually going on here. So the drill is pretty simple. Get set, hands forward, weight forward, and remember, when you move your weight forward, you do not want to see your upper body moving forward as well. You want to see the upper body staying fairly stable. Move the hips forward so you have a bit of a secondary spine tilt away from the target. Your hands forward and hit half shots, focusing on two things: the wedge at impact, maintaining the wedge, and the arms staying straight. In my opinion, this is the best drill to really improve your ball striking, and I've seen it work with club golfers, with some of my professionals, juniors, as well as my amateurs. So just to recap, something that we spoke about in the previous episode is the built-in draw. Take your setup, close the club face a few degrees first, place the club down. Now you might notice your club is slightly shut. Get the hands forward, which now opens your club face to the target, and then hit the ball with the 1990 drill or the low point drill, as I mentioned. Finish with your hands in the right position, arms straight and the wedge maintained, and you will see how straight away you start hitting beautiful little baby draws that start right at the target. So guys, that's it about the low point control, a very, very important aspect and an important fundamental in the game of golf. And I'm sure many of you who try this drill are going to really enjoy the benefits of understanding how to strike the ball first. Feel free to leave comments in my inbox so that, if you have any questions, we can address them. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.